Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. Basically, it takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast reader library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you get the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media on there. So Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. And I also have the links to this YouTube channel page, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. There we go. There was a lot more news this week than I was thinking there was going to be. So let's get down to it, shall we? The big thing, of course, Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney for breach of contract because she, in part of her contract for Black Widow, she was supposed to get a part of the revenue, of course, of the movie. And they, of course, released it streaming as well as in theaters. And so she's saying that decreased the amount of money that she would have gotten. So it's becoming an ugly public fight at the moment. Disney actually sent something out saying that she was very well compensated. She was given on top of her $20 million. So basically they shamed her for her salary publicly in Twitter. And then they're like, you don't need to get any more money. This is a baseless claim and all this. It's becoming a really ugly fight is really what it is. And yeah. Well, the other thing that's coming out of this too is that there's talk that Emma Stone might be doing the same thing for Disney for Cruella. Even though Cruella has been out a little bit longer, she's been thinking about it, mulling it over, and most likely is going to sue Disney as well. So yeah, so Disney's gonna. There's a reason why I believe after Jungle Cruise here, there's not going to be any more streaming on Disney Plus at the same time movies are in theaters. So I'm wondering if The Rock is going to, well, yeah, that's the whole thing, Stanley. So the whole reason why Disney is doing Disney Plus and why they're streaming it on there is they don't have to cut the actors in on that portion of it, and it's not part of the contract. So they are kind of doing a underhanded deal, if you will, and they are sabotaging the theater ticket prices. But then again, we're in the middle of a pandemic as well, so they were kind of in a bind as to you can't really release. You're not going to do as well in a pandemic in a theater when people have a communicable disease that's going around or virus. And yes, and when you have a streaming service that you can do the same thing and you can charge pretty much the same amount of money, I don't know, man. You need to cut the actors in on that portion of it at least, or at least make it clear in the contract that they either get a portion of that streaming revenue or they're cut out of it completely. One of the two. Philip says Emma doesn't have a puppy to stand on. Yeah. And Stanley says it's not just the new movies. They want money for the other movie series. Yeah, they do, of course. Yeah. Stanley said, try watching the new Transformers. Wow, Master Universe is Shakespeare against. Well, that's your own opinion on that one. I think it just might be the translation is what it is for you, Stanley. I'm kidding. No, we each have our own opinions. Yeah, I'm not going to bring up Outlander. Oh, I just did. Hang on a sec. Never mind. I kid, Stanley. So, yeah, going back to this whole lawsuit thing. Yes, I agree with her. It's this one's going to be really sticky. It really is going to be sticky. Uh, I agree with her that it was a shitty deal, and Disney should have cut her in on the streaming rates on that one, but they didn't, and they're not going to. And she's going to end up getting money off of this. I'm pretty sure Emma Stone's going to end up getting money off of this as well. Penn says Outlander was far, far from bad and miles from the worst thing you could watch. I don't know. Stanley said I just watched the English version. It's just mumbo jumbo to me. You must not be a fan, Stanley. You didn't understand it. It was beyond you. So you just didn't get it. I'm sorry, man. I thought it was funny. Yeah, if you didn't like it, you didn't like it. Yeah. That's cool. I will be covering that though on Tuesday. I've got 2 more episodes to watch. I do like how they've been tying together a lot of things though. So anyway. Also, we got final confirmation on this. I mean, it's been a rumor for a while now, but we finally got confirmation that Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall are leaving Doctor Who at the end of 2022. So after the fall 2022 season is done, they're gone. So, and I know much to the great delight of a lot of Doctor Who fans that didn't like Whittaker or Chibnall. So, yeah. Stanley says, but I could understand MOTU. Not actually, that really wasn't. Well, anyway, I'm not going to get into the. We'll save that for tomorrow. How about that, Stanley? About Master Universe and Transformers, because it veers into spoiler territory, and there's going to be this little show tomorrow called Spoiler Alert that I do, or we can save it for there. But yeah, I mean, I watched, I think, the first 2 episodes of Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who. It didn't do anything for me, and I left it. But then again, I am not a Doctor Who fan, so I am not the person that is a good gauge of this, quite honestly. And oh well. Yeah. I mean, out of all the Doctor Who's, I should say the modern ones, I liked Chris Eccleston the best, and then Matt Smith. Did not like Tennant at all. Actually, Tennant was the reason why I stopped watching. I know everyone's like, "Oh my god," but I just didn't like him. So, Raymond says I like the Kablam episode of Jodie's Who. That's it. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I watched the first 2 episodes. I really didn't like it, and I stopped watching. No, I'm not a fan of Capaldi at all. I think I watched the first one with Capaldi, and I got halfway through it, and I was like, nope, and I turned it off. Yeah. For me, Penn, Tennant was one of the meanest Doctor Who's, and delighted in actually torturing, I think, his companions, and that's why I stopped watching. I didn't like him. So I Sasha, yes, hi Sasha, by the way. And I knew she would pop in. I mentioned Doctor Who, and oh my god, I am not, like I said, a Doctor Who fan. So yeah, it's people are going to discount what I say anyway on that one. So I'm fine with that. And I agree. I am not, like I said, I am not a repository of Doctor Who knowledge or anything like that. So I am furthest from the person who you should be taking Doctor Who advice from. So there you go. Eccleston was an asshole, Raymond, but he was more self-preservation. That's the only reason why he was an asshole. It was purely self-preservation. He just wasn't mean to other people. That was the whole thing. It was just that he was an asshole because he was trying to get to what he needed to get to. But yeah. Philip A. Demick says, rumor has it they're casting Sophia De Martino as the next Doctor Who. I doubt that, quite honestly, but hey. All right. Penn says Capaldi had some great scenes and great dialogue, but overall he was cheated and robbed. Sasha says, I don't think you're qualified to discuss. That's the old adage. You're not qualified. You just didn't get it since you didn't watch any of it. Nah, I have my opinion. I have who I like and who I didn't on what I watched. So it doesn't discount it or raise it above anybody else's, quite honestly. It was you, Sasha. Okay, it was you that was mean to me. That's why. Yeah. So anyway, next bit of news here, since we're not going to dwell on the Doctor Who. Wednesday, November 24th, the new Hawkeye series premieres on Disney Plus. And I, for one, am delighted that we're having another MASH series come back out again after so long. I kid. So Hawkeye, of course, being the Avenger, Jeremy Renner. And yes, we are going down that route. So we do have an official start date of November 24th, which is awesome. I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see where it goes from here. I know we have, Marvel's What If coming out soon here, August 11th, 12th, something like that. It's a Wednesday. I know that. Excuse me. August 11th. There we go. Yes, August 11th. And of course, the day before that, everyone's favorite Stargirl is going to be on CW on August 10th. So, yeah. Yeah. Stanley says Dennis just doesn't like people that are like himself. No, that's not true. I despise people that are like me. No, I'm kidding. Anyway. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Hawkeye series. That's actually going to be a lot of fun. September 3rd, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is going to be coming only to theaters, is what it said. Only to theaters. So no Disney Plus streaming or anything like that. So there's your first casualty of all of this. Yeah, it's because Black Widow did not perform as they thought it was going to, because they split it between theaters and streaming. I don't know. I would rather have the streaming available to me, but I'm not going to go and see it in the theater. That's just it. I mean, there's just, it's too risky for me still. So Stanley says, I heard Capaldi is quite good in Suicide. Yeah, I heard that too. Actually, as I was combing through the news articles this morning, I came across something with Capaldi talking about his character, the Thinker, and how he said he just stuck to the script that James Gunn wrote, because when he tried digging into the comics, he goes, it was all over the place for the character, which is what happens with characters that are that have that kind of a long run, that are villains that aren't really defined. They're not major villains. They're kind of side villains. And yeah, it happens. What I did see though, I saw a trailer for the Detachable Kid, Nathan Fillion's character, because I didn't know what he was, and they showed what his power was, and I was laughing my ass off. So there's just a little featurette of the Detachable Kid and what he does, and good God, it's fucking funny. It's the most useless power too, but it's funny as hell. Hey, Mr. Roboto. Which movie is only in theaters? Sorry, I blocked out your voice for a moment. Everything, Stanley, is only in theaters right now. Philip A. Demick says, I think the streaming should be a month after theaters during the pandemic. Yeah, I could deal with that, Philip. I think you're right. That's actually not a good that's not a bad idea. That's a good idea, quite honestly. That way you give the theater its shot, and then you can put it on streaming for the rest of us that don't want to go in. Yeah. Penn loves Nathan Fillion, even though he's not British. Raymond says, other than Harley Quinn, who will survive? King Shark is definitely going to survive. Idris Elba's character is probably going to survive. There's going to be quite a few that survive. I think there's only going to be maybe one, maybe two that die in this. So, where are we? What else we got going on here? Oh, so in November, they didn't give a date. They just said in November we got and these are new trailers, by the way, that we got too. Ghostbusters Afterlife is coming again to theaters only. And it's now been retitled Ghostbusters 3 Afterlife. And so it's supposed to be a direct sequel to the original duo, I guess you can say. The first Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2, which no one ever talks about. So, yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one as well. That actually looks pretty decent. But then again, it could also, really backfire. Oh, we'll see what happens there. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Sasha says, by the way, I've told Dennis he should have me on as host to Doctor Who discussion so you can all get more. I like Smith, Capaldi sucks, and Tennant is mean. I told you could start your own channel, and I told you I'd help you. Stanley said she is not the right actress for. Okay, you guys are talking about Doctor Who, which I've left a little while ago, so I'm gonna let you guys talk about that. Which of the OG Ghostbusters is still alive? The other one is dead. Is Harold Ramis in real life? I mean, but everyone else is alive. So Bill Murray has a cameo. Dan Aykroyd in the trailer, the new trailer, answers the phone at the very end. Spoiler alert on that, I guess. What's his name? Ernie Hudson is supposed to be making an appearance in it. Finally, they brought him on board, and Annie Potts makes a appearance as Janine. She's in the trailer as well. So everyone's back. I don't even know if Sigourney Weaver makes an appearance. She might. Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised. I did end up ordering the King Shark action figure or doll or whatever you want to call it, because I like King Shark and it was pretty funny. I'm just waiting for it to become available and get delivered to me. Now you guys can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about in the chat. It's just every now and then when I look over there and I see what it is, I'm just so you know I'm moving on from the topic there, and I'm from that topic anyway, I should say. So I hear something, Sasha, that you'll like too. November 7th, we got a date on this one. Dexter returns to Showtime. And it was kind of funny. I was actually talking to a few friends of mine. I'm thinking, does Showtime actually have anything else going for it that anyone's willing to watch streaming wise? And Ray Donovan's been canceled. Homeland's been canceled like a couple of years ago. So what else do they have? Billions? Does anyone watch Billions? And so Dexter's pretty much about it. And then they're bringing that back because they ended it pretty much on a shit note. So yeah, they're bringing back Dexter, which I'm not gonna get a subscription to Showtime just to watch Dexter. Raymond says, would you welcome a Galaxy Quest sequel? I would have about 10 years ago, but not now. It's too far gone. Honestly, once you get to a certain point, I I don't think you should do a sequel to it anymore. Just move on and do something else. Mr. Roboto, why is Dexter returning? Because Showtime has nothing else and they need to make money off their streaming service. Because people are they're basically getting rid of cable at an exponential rate right now, and everyone's moving to streaming. So HBO Max is making money in streaming. Apple is making money in streaming. Who else? Amazon's making money in streaming. Netflix streaming. So streaming is where it's at, and having that old cable, setup, if you will, it is no longer viable. And so now they're they're finally waking up and realizing that they need to do that. Stanley says, no, I don't want a Princess Bride sequel either. Yeah. Yeah, Firefly is way too late as well, Penn. I agree with you. Yeah. I mean, the only thing, there was something that was thrown out there was The Last Starfighter doing a sequel. And I was thinking about that. I'm like, 30 years down the line, you have Alex and Maggie and their kids, and they're in space. Of course, they are setting up the new generation of fighters, and you have a new threat to the to the alliance, if you will, or something like that. That I would actually watch. That would actually be kind of cool. But then again, I would think you want to do that more of a series than actually as a movie. Let JJ reboot Galaxy Quest. You're going to be on timeout, Apple Crow. You really are on that one. So, yeah. Stanley said, I just thought we had too few puns back in here. You were working on it though, Stanley. You were trying. That's for sure. So, Sasha, you're not excited about Dexter at all? Or did you go off and do something else? Here's a show that no one really wanted to have happen. In October, Sci-Fi or Sci-Fi is going to be doing a series called Day of the Dead, which is supposedly going to be based off the Romero movie, loosely, if you will. And it's basically just people in a town that are fighting zombies, is really what it is. And the trailer for it just looks as bad as it sounds. I'm not looking forward to anything like that. Yeah. It's time to do a Custer's Revenge reboot. No. Penn says, aren't we past the zombie craze? No, because Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, got, what was it, 75 million views on Netflix? That's why. So no, we are not past the zombie craze. What was it? I read something. They're going to be doing a movie called The Kaiju Score, which is a bank heist or a jewelry heist or something like that set during a kaiju invasion or a kaiju attack on a city, which kind of like Army of the Dead, where they're trying to do a heist. Yeah. It just, oh my God. I was just thinking about it. I'm like, this is just really fucking dumb. So, of course, people were coming up in the comments section. I thought it was pretty funny. The most logical conclusion to this is you have zombie kaijus and you have a bank heist during a zombie kaiju attack on a city. Zombie movies done right can be done that can be done well. There are ones that can be done well. Oh, what else do we have here? Oh, this is good news. Sweet Tooth has been renewed for a second season of Netflix. So for those of you who haven't seen Sweet Tooth yet, go and watch it. It's actually really good. It is based off of a DC comic, actually. And I'm blanking on the imprint that DC had that they killed off now. Anyway, yes, it is a DC comic. and it's worth your time because I did is it worth your time? Yes. Applecrow says zombie movies are boring now that we have real life zombies trying their hardest to spread disease. They all wear red hats too, at least a good majority of them do, so it's easy to spot them. Raymond says it's started kind of slow, but got good real quick. For what? Are you talking about Army of the Dead or? Mr. Roboto, they've been talking about live action Invincible movie for a while now. So it was in conjunction with the animated series. They've been working on it. Who knows if it'll ever get done? Oh, Sweet Tooth is what you're saying. It started slow but got good real quick. Yeah. Yeah, it does start off very slow, and then there's more stuff to come, of course, in Sweet Tooth. So, did we talk about soldiers or zombies? No, we never did. Not that I want to, but I'm sorry, man. Season 6 of Legends of Tomorrow will be the last season for the character of Constantine. But Matt Ryan is going to be playing another character in season 7. So there you go. So I don't know if anyone watches Legends of Tomorrow anymore. It's completely and totally ridiculous. It has nothing to do with any DC lore anymore. It's its own ridiculous animal. And yeah, I watch it just for the puns, is really what I watch it for. It's got some of the worst puns possible, and it self-referential, self-aware as well, because they mention all the time about the crossovers and the sequels and all that stuff. And that's the reason why I watch it, is just because it is so meta now at this point. That is funny. And supposedly the bowling episode that's coming up was a really expensive episode, even though it's all shot in a bowling alley. So much so that they actually had to scale back effects on other episodes of the season. So that one just has me intrigued as to why the fuck it cost that much money. So yeah. Yes, Legends is still airing. They have a season 7 coming up, Stanley, as well. Yeah, he is good as Constantine Penn, but not this version of Constantine. They went a little campy with him. They went a lot campy with him, I should say. And I'm not digging where they're at with him on this. So where else are we at? Oh, and this is something no one ever asked for. A Waterworld TV series is in the works. Yeah. So why is there a Waterworld? So Dan Trachtenberg is going to direct the first episode of this, but producers John Davis and John Fox are planning this show. And one of the two watched the movie. John Davis, that's what it was. John Davis decided to watch the movie again and said, "Hey, this actually holds up well. It should be a TV series." And so he's decided to make a fucking TV series of Waterworld. No idea where it's going to be at as of yet. Supposedly they already have a streaming service or something like that in mind, but they haven't announced where it's going to go at. But yeah, exactly, Penn. I don't know how that fucker sold either, so I really don't. Yeah, I really don't. Applecrow says Waterworld. Interest in that dried up while they were still in the theater. Yeah, I know. You need to workshop that one again, just a little bit more. And you too, Stanley. You and Applecrow should get together and workshop your stuff a little bit more, polish it up, and then bring it back over to us once you're ready. Yeah, Mr. Roboto, I'm not going to even. You need a lot more help than just workshopping on that one. Taika Waititi's script for Flash Gordon, which was going to be an animated movie, is now going to be live action instead of animated. And Taika actually says that the 1980 Flash Gordon movie is pretty much what inspired him to do movies and stuff like that. And it inspires a lot of what he does. And again, if you've never seen the 1980 Flash Gordon movie with Sam Jones, go and watch it. It's ridiculous. It really is. But it's also one of those things like, how in this fuck did this ever get made? And how did I not see this before? Um, that's how amazing it really is. But I am definitely looking forward to something like this. He is actually going back to the original strips, the comic strips, and kind of going with that route. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Waterworld TV show. How much did that cost? Oh my god! I almost want to put you on a timeout for that one, Raymond. I really do. I mean, wow. Wow, that was bad. So bad that's one of those needle across the record kind of and where everything stops, kind of like it just did here. Then we just needed to take a little bit of time to acknowledge just how bad that joke really was. We're just gonna have a moment of silence for how that joke died, and we're done. Okay. Philip Ademic says, yeah, you guys, enough with the puns already. Try. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, you guys just trying to outdo yourself now in Waterworld puns. I'm just gonna let you guys go to it, okay? Um, James Gunn has said that you'll need to watch the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which is scheduled for December 2022 on Disney Plus, and it's going to be 40 minutes long. Oh, he knows that much. But he says you're going to need to watch the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special in order to learn things that are going to be relevant to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which comes out in May of 2023. Okay. I was going to watch both anyway, but still, yeah, I will do that. I will definitely do that. Penn says in the chat just degrades. I know. This like really deja vu of the chat degrading into what what it was? It was all Sasha's fault. That's what I'm gonna say it was. It was all Sasha's fault. She's not here. I could say that. And then she's gonna get on me about that. I don't care. What is a holiday in space in Marvel, Dennis? It's called Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. That's what it is, Mr. Roboto. Should I get the Guardians of the Galaxy video game? I don't know, Raymond. Depends. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen what the trailer is yet, but then again, I haven't been looking for it either. So who knows? You think it's a reskinned Avengers? I mean, the Avengers isn't a bad game. I mean, it's kind of boring in spots, but it's not like horrible. I got it for free. So I'm not really disappointed by the game, but then again, I don't play it all the time either. So are there any established space holidays in Marvel? What do you mean, like a Kwanzaa Day or something like that, or a King regifting day or something like that? Not that I know of. There are a lot of holiday stories in Marvel that are some set in space. Yes, in the comics, they always do like holiday. I believe there's even an Arbor Day one as well. So, and speaking of Dan Trachtenberg, who we were just talking about for Waterworld there, he's actually going to be directing the new Predator movie, and it's going to be called Skull. Skull. There we go. And now it's supposed to be about the first time predators came to Earth. And the lead is going to be an American Indian female warrior who doesn't follow conventional gender roles or guidelines or whatever what it's supposed to be. And I'm like, okay. So basically, it's yeah, supposed to be in Native American Indian, set in the past, of course, prehistory, I guess you could say, not prehistoric, but prehistory. And yeah, she doesn't follow basically gender, yeah, roles, whatever. Penn says it sounded okay until you said that. That's the way they sold it, Penn. I swear, that's how they sold it. And I just kind of looked at him like, yeah, I'm gonna pass. I'm just gonna pass on that one. Also, it's Dan Trachtenberg, who I'm not all that jazzed about either. Yeah. Applecrow says, please enlighten us as to what Native American gender roles were that a movie can defy. I don't know, Applecrow, you tell me. Well, I know this, that women were not supposed to be, quote unquote warriors. Um, and so I guess she's going to be a warrior. And yes, you can insert your warrior princess, whatever joke in there as well, which I know you guys will at some point in time. Yeah. Albuquerque, I meant that rhetorical, not not at me. Okay. Well, yeah. I don't know. I just look at it this way. It's a Predator sequel that's not being done from the main people who actually did Predator to begin with. So it's gonna suck. Everything else notwithstanding within it, the plot or anything like that, it's just gonna suck because the main people who were originally involved with Predator are not going to be involved with it. So there you go. Speaking of suckage, Tiffany Haddish and Lakeith Stanfield are going to be starring in the Haunted Mansion remake for Disney. Was the first one really any good? I should say the first, the Eddie Murphy movie. I remember seeing it, and I remember thinking, this is really sucky. This is not that good. And I was trying to figure out why Disney would want to reboot. Okay, so this actually does fall under the guidelines of when you want to remake a movie, is you remake a shit movie into possibly a better movie. Maybe they have a better script. I doubt it. But yeah, that's what you do, is you take a really crappy movie and you remake it. Thank you, Ocean's 11. Stanley says, do we need a Haunted Mansion movie ever? No, we didn't. It's just supposed, I mean, do we need a Jungle Cruise movie? No, we didn't need a Jungle Cruise movie. But we got a Jungle Cruise movie, and supposedly we have a Jungle Cruise 2 movie coming as well. So, I mean, yeah, there you go. They do not have money to burn, Mr. Roboto. This is kind of a weird one. So J.K. Simmons is in talk to play Commissioner Gordon in the Batgirl movie, where Leslie Grace is Batgirl. Okay, but isn't Jeffrey Wright Commissioner Gordon in the Batman movie with Pattinson? So I guess this Batgirl is not going to be in the same universe as the Pattinson Batman. And if that's the case, then now, I mean, yeah. So my head hurts thinking about this. They really need somebody over at Warner Brothers that are keeping track of their DC movies and actually keeping it on an even keel at this point. Because this just sounds wrong. I mean, yes, I love J.K. Simmons. He didn't get enough time as Commissioner Gordon in the Murderverse movies, but I guess they're bringing the Murderverse back now with this version, and then also with Ezra Miller's Flash, who no one really wanted because that really sucked. He had way too much time in Justice League. I mean, exactly way too much time. Penn says Pirates of the Caribbean was a fun surprise and made them want to make way too many other ride movies. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Penn. You hit it on the nose. Pirates of the Caribbean was a fun movie. The first two, I would say, are actually fairly decent. And then it just started going off the rails. And you know what happens when a Disney ride goes off the rails? That's when the lights come on. You get to see all the stuff behind the scenes and you get escorted out. hmm That's usually what happens. Netflix is not going ahead with a sequel to Six Underground because they found it didn't, quote unquote, hit the mark creatively. So even though the Ryan Reynolds movie did well for Netflix and actually got a lot of viewers and was actually fairly popular, they're like, no, we're gonna pass on a sequel to that one. So yeah, they were just like, yeah, we're gonna move away from that one. I'm okay because that movie sucked. I mean, again, it was a Michael Bay movie, and I'm fairly sure that Michael Bay had something to do with their decision not to move forward with a sequel to it. But yeah, I was okay that they're not going to do a sequel to Six Underground. That was a shitty movie. It really was. Yeah. Philip Ademic says there were at least 3 women to put on the Batgirl costume. So she might not be playing Barbara Gordon. She might not be laying Barbara Gordon. You never know. It could be on HBO Max. Um, no, she's gonna be playing Barbara Gordon. We know she is. Yeah. Raymond says, "Heads up, Jungle Cruise was a bargain bin. Pirates of the Caribbean." Yeah, I got that from the trailer. It followed the exact same format as Pirates of the Caribbean. Raymond. It's the same thing. Like everyone's going, "Oh my god, Ted Lasso's awesome," and I'm like, "Did you ever watch Major League in the '80s? The movie Major League with Charlie Sheen and Wesley Snipes and Corbin Burnson and Dennis Haybert and all those people that actually had a lot of stars in it. It's the exact same thing, only it's set in England, and it's a football team, instead of a baseball team. Okay, so you got fish out of water along with Major League thrown in there, and I'm like, yeah, that's great. Don't need to see it. And the final thing that I have here, Snowpiercer has been renewed for a 4th season on TNT ahead of the season 3 premiere. Okay. So for me, I've watched the first season of Snowpiercer on TNT. It was interesting, I have to admit. The ending actually made me want to watch at least the first couple episodes of the second season, which hasn't been up yet on HBO Max that I know of. But yeah, I'm just like, okay. It's a TNT show, a TNT series, which I know will be out on HBO Max at some point in time, and I can just watch it there. I'm not gonna subscribe to cable. I am not gonna subscribe to a TNT app or anything like that. It's just not worth it. Yeah. I agree with you, Penn. Snowpiercer was better than expected, the TV series. But yeah, even then, they kind of play fast and loose with dimensions of cars and stuff like that. Oh, you already watched season 2? Okay. Is it out on HBO Max already? I haven't even looked. I might take a look at that. Apple Crow says, in other news, BPRD still hasn't been made into a TV series because it might be too good. It might be too expensive, Apple Crow, is why it probably hasn't been made into a TV series. But I agree with you. That would actually be a candidate for TV series, especially given the boys, how well the boys is. You think that Amazon would actually just go and do a BPRD series. But then again, I think Dark Horse has I think they have a contract with Netflix, if I'm not mistaken, for like First Look. Thank you, Mr. Roboto. You didn't need to give me $2. Jonah Hex was bad. Could a Hex sequel be better? As long as Josh Brolin's not in it and Megan Fox is nowhere near it. When Megan Fox is your best actor in the movie and she was untested or unseasoned at the time, I guess you could say, you know that's a bad movie. Will Arnett at one point, he and Aiden, fuck, I can't remember his name. There's a scene where they're in the White House and you can see Will Arnett reading his lines off a card like he was reading them for the first time. It's that bad in Jonah Hex. I mean, come on. When you have a movie with John Malkovich in it as the villain and that's completely wasted. Uh, I mean, not as wasted as Josh Brolin was while he was filming it, which you could tell. And he was just bloated too. He's just this big, I'm Jonah Hex. Yeah, it was just bad. I mean, it was fucking horribly bad. That one probably deserves Is It Worth My Time? But you already know what I'm going to say about that one. Apple Crow says, Bojack Horseman would never read off the cards are rolling. Next card, please. Yes, exactly. BPRD animated series. Shut up and take my money is what Stanley says. No, I want a live action series, Stanley. Fuck the animated stuff. I want a live action BPRD series. That would be the shit right there. You don't need to have Hellboy. You really don't. And you could still actually have a really decent series out of it. But yeah, I don't think Netflix would ever go for it. Don't know why. They could probably stop production on like 30 different, other shitty little shows that they're going to be putting out. They put out over 1,000 shows a year. You think they could pull the budget from 30 of those really shit shows that they're going to cancel anyway and go towards making a BPRD series. Put some money into it, motherfuckers. Yeah, that would work. I mean, come on, supernatural paranormal detective agency. What could go wrong on that? Penn says, stop talking logic and common sense when referring to Hollywood. I know that they have cocaine shoved up their ass like 24/7 so that they can't think clearly anyway. But hey. Applecross says they'll greenlight BPRD, but only if it can have 250 producer credits. What do you think this is? A Zack Snyder movie? Stanley says they could turn BPRD into a romantic cop show like Lucifer. Oh my god. Please. Yeah. You got me a cup of coffee, son? You're a producer now. Welcome to Zack Snyder movies. Yeah. Applecross, I mean, they try to do that with the first Hellboy. You're talking about the one that just got done with David Harbour as Hellboy. That would have worked, honestly. I liked the way it ended. They had that little end scene, and then they had Lobster Johnson in there, the ghost of Lobster Johnson, which is fucking awesome. They did a great job of that too. Yeah, Dylan Dog was underrated. I agree with you, Raymond. Especially the one that was done with Brandon Routh. The Brandon Routh one was pretty good, I have to admit. They just didn't give it a chance. Also, they did not, they didn't promote the shit out of it anyway. They didn't promote it at all, really. So. Oh, yeah. Okay, you're talking about the one with Ron Perlman. So Guillermo del Toro had his own thing that he wanted to do with Hellboy, and yeah. And I kinda have a feeling that he and Mike Mignola might have had a difference of opinion on how the story should have gone, which is why you never got a, you know, what was it, a third one out of that? Because yeah, they only had the two. But I'm pretty sure that was what happened and why we never got the third one with Guillermo del Toro, and then also because Guillermo del Toro is like doing supposedly working on like 50,000 different projects, but never takes one to completion except randomly. I like Brandon Routh as well. He was great on Legends of Tomorrow. And then also when they did the crossover event and they had him reprise Superman, and it was the Kingdom Come, not the Kingdom Come Superman, but a Superman where Lois dies, and in that universe, and so he had the Kingdom Come S on his chest, which was awesome. It was great. He had a future Superman, symbol on his chest, which was awesome. Yes, and I agree with you, Apple Crow. Thomas Hayden Church was a great Lobster Johnson. That was a lot of fun. Apple Crow says, I want to see Panos Cosmatos do Hellboy, or maybe Dennis. No, not Dennis Villeneuve. Jesus Christ, it'll be 4 hours long, be boring as fucking hell, but look really pretty. I want someone, like Doug Liman. I would love to see Doug Liman do take a shot at Hellboy, or Sam Raimi, yes, or James Gunn. But I'm trying to be realistic here. I would say if you can get Doug Liman to do it, that would be a good one right there. He flies under the radar of a lot of people. Yeah, and really shouldn't. Sorry, I'm not going to ever shit on my own tabletop. It was my little computer screwdriver kit. So, yes, Doug Jones is also fairly creepy in real life too. For those of us that have met him at con, he's just, I don't know. There was something off-putting. Let's just say that. I don't know what it was, but it just was. Raymond says you got to be on shrooms to fully enjoy Villeneuve. Yeah, I would say so. You'd have to be pretty fucking high. Hey, kids, want to get high? Stanley Tweedle says, I thought he was out of Discovery. Didn't he leave last season? I don't know. No, I thought he's still on Discovery, from what I understand. He likes the weird hoof shoes or whatever it is that he's wearing for his character. From what I understand, he really likes that shit. So yeah. Apple I saw a fun, cheap vampire film last night called Suck. Low budget, but it did a good job with it. I'm actually looking forward to the one with Jamie Foxx that's coming out. That's supposed to be a comedy on Netflix. Where he's by day he's a pool cleaner, and at night he's supposed to kill vampires and whatnot. And I can't remember the name of it right now, but they've been working on that thing forever. But that's supposed to come out on Netflix. I'm looking forward to that one. It seems I'm naturally stoned, is what Stanley says to Raymond. Well, we know this, Stanley. We still like you, though. No, I thought it was okay. You don't need Abe in every single episode of Hellboy or every single Hellboy movie. And again, the BPRD series, like Apple Crow has been talking about, is what originally what the comics were kind of set up to be. Hellboy was not supposed to be the star. It was supposed to be BPRD. It was supposed to be about the Bureau, and Hellboy just happened to catch people's imaginations and ran. Mike Mignola ran with it. Is really what he did. So I'd be happy seeing a BPRD series. It needs to be episodic, like a weekly thing. It really does. You could have a big bad, like, overarching season and everything like that. Or you could even do episodes where you're kind of like what they did in the comics, where they just kind of went by different years, and it was never you go from 1956 to 1972 to 1993, that kind of thing. And yeah, they always just announced what the year was in the comic, and then they ran with it. They the way this series came out in the comics and still does to this day is they do like 2 or 3 comics per series, if you will, and just release it that way. And they're all in different times. Yeah. Apple Crow says the Harbor Hellboy has to have a very interesting behind the scenes story because there was so much great stuff in the movie and so much that I felt chopped together. Yeah, I have a feeling that the studio really interfered with that one. So yeah, I agree with you, Stanley. The Amazing Screw On Head was great, and I'm angry about that one not getting made as well. There is the first episode that is out there on YouTube, but other than that, that I think that's MTV's fault on that one because that was supposed to be on MTV when they were still doing animation. They had their little animation house, but I also want to say that was the end of that era when the animation house was kind of blowing up and they were destroying it. And that was probably the last thing I think that came out of there. Otherwise, that would have just been an amazing, amazing show. Stanley says, I have seen it. That's why I'm so angry. I know. Me too. Yeah, that came out, I want to say, when I want to say I was still in animation school at the time. And all of us watched. Have you seen it? Have you seen it? Our drive, there was a drive at school that you can put your we all collaborated on stuff, right? So we all collaborated on 2D movies, 3D movies, things like that. We needed to for our classes. So there was a central database within the school that you could actually, put your stuff on, and everyone would pull from there. So you could, splice things together and all that. But there was also a pretty good, healthy, I would say, section that had movies and TV series and music and stuff like that that people could upload and download from. And yeah, so whenever anyone found anything interesting, they would put it there, and we'd all download it. So yeah. um Raymond says, are we getting another Stranger Things? I don't care either. Yeah, we're getting they're already season 4 is supposed to be coming out the end of this year. I want to say it's the end of this year. They haven't really announced the date as of yet, but since it's set at Christmas, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the end of this year. Apple Crow says that reminds me of a supposed 9-hour Spanish student film version of Dune that was destroyed by HLP lawyers. Nice. Mr. Roboto says there are a lot of actors who cannot do the creature makeup and complain. Yeah. True. All righty. So, what else do I have to do this week? Do I have to do? What else am I doing this week is what I should say. Good God. My brain just went back to work for all of a sudden for some reason. Tomorrow is going to be an episode of Spoiler Alert. That's right. Where we guys can talk about anything, guys and gals, I should say, women and men. There we go. And everybody else in between, or everybody included. Everybody can talk about anything you want to as long as it's been released, and you can talk about spoilers in that thing. All right, that's what Spoiler Alert's all about. Monday, I'm going to be off. Tuesday is going to be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it's going to be War for Cybertron, Transformers, War for Cybertron, the entire series. We're going to talk about that there. Wednesday and Thursday, I'll be off. Friday is going to be Star Wars: The Bad Batch, and then of course Saturday rolls back around again to Saturday morning blast off. So there we go. Stanley says, I think that should be the last season of Stranger Things. It's already stretched thin. Well, the kids are getting too old too. All right, Stanley. Yeah, sure, you can do it. She's asleep in another room, Mr. Roboto. She is tired of the bullshit, as she says. Stranger Things meets Degrassi. I don't know. Thanks, everybody. I will see you guys again tomorrow. But until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, oh, you know what? Actually, before I do that, let me go through my whole spiel too. I keep forgetting about that. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. If you want to know when I'm be on live again next, hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also, all the links to my social media there as well. And all the links to my page are there as well, too. Sasha, what'd you miss? You missed everything. We're already done. Also, I blamed you for a couple of things, too. So don't look at the rest of the video. And thanks, everybody. Thank you to everybody who joined me today in the chat and derailed it as much as possible because that was a lot of fun. It really was, actually. And thank you if you made it this far in the Rambly video. Again, if you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video up here and then hit that subscribe button down below. Until then, until tomorrow, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may just be inundated with a whole bunch of really bad water puns because, it just really is the way of things, I guess. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, and just stay safe out there. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, have a good rest of your day and a good weekend if I don't see you then. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.